we were seeing how authentication is done. Okay, we saw how one-way authentication is done, how mutual authentication is done. Okay, now in all of these, we have also seen two kinds of cryptography: secret key cryptography and public key cryptography. Okay, now all these are what will be used for in authentication. Okay, our main intention is no attacker should be able to get into our conversation. Okay, no attacker should be able to get whatever communication is taking place between the sender and the receiver. Okay. Yeah. Now, what is secret key cryptography and what is public key cryptography? In secret key cryptography, we have seen that we have one key that is shared between the sender and the receiver. Okay, both of them know the key. By some means, they have already shared the key between them, and that is what they are going to use to encrypt or decrypt the data. Okay, whereas in public key cryptography, we have two keys. One is the public key and the other is the private key. Okay, you will encrypt it. If the sender wants to send a message to the receiver, the sender will encrypt it using the receiver's public key. Okay, and once the message is received, the receiver will decrypt it using his private key. Okay, so thereby they get the information, whatever message is there. Okay, now each of them, we said, have their own advantages and disadvantages. Okay, what are the secret key cryptography has got certain advantages over public key cryptography. Okay, what is the advantage? Now, when you take public key cryptography, what we see is we need the public key. Okay, from where do you get the public key? Public key is obtained or is available as digital certificate. That is what we have seen, okay, a few classes before. So in the digital certificate, the certification authority is going to put the public key and he is going to certify that this is the public key of this person, okay, of the member. Now, to maintain this digital certificate, again, we need the public key infrastructure that we have seen. Okay, you have all the means by which the digital certificates are certified, how they are distributed, okay, and you need all the hardware and the software that is required to store this key. Also, we have seen we need some backups. That is all done by the public key infrastructure. So if you are going to use public key cryptography, you need the digital certificate, you need this public key infrastructure to maintain all this. Next. To maintain this public key infrastructure, again, you need a lot of cost. Okay, yeah, you have to spend a lot of money in order to maintain this public key infrastructure. Next, another thing what we have seen while we have done the computations is public key, private key operations are relatively slow. Okay, why are they slow? We have seen that you need e to the power of the key. Okay, e to the power of k operations. So you need the exponentiation operation, which makes the process very slow. Okay, so when you compare, when you take these things, we see that secret key cryptography is much advantageous. Okay, of course, in secret key cryptography also we have seen that has certain disadvantages. Okay, how do you maintain the key? Key is not a small number. We have seen it is about 2000 bits, 1000 bits or 2000 bits value. How do you maintain this secretly? Okay, so that nobody is able, no attacker is able to get it, or nobody else comes to know about this key. Okay, so with secret key cryptography, what we have seen is you have to share a key with the receiver. The sender has to share the key with the receiver. Okay, suppose A wants to communicate with B, he will have a secret key that is shared between them. Okay, now the same A wants to send a message to C, then he should have a second key with C. Now A wants to send a message with D, so he should have another secret key with D. Okay, so like this, with any number of people that he wants to communicate, he should have a different key. Okay, now how is he going to manage all these keys? You know very well, in your mobile itself, you have so many contacts, thousands of contacts. Okay, so how are you going to manage a different key with each of these contacts? It's going to be difficult. So for this, we use what is called as a key distribution center. Okay, KDC. Okay, KDC is one which is going to create these keys for you and supply. So any user will register with this KDC. Okay, he will have a single password with KDC. Okay, now this KDC will create a long-term secret using this function. Okay, using this password. Okay, and it is exclusively shared between the user and the KDC. Okay. Yeah. So anytime that A wants to make a communication, then A will request, A will first communicate with KDC. A has got a password. Okay, A has got a password. Using this password, this KDC will create a long-term secret with A. Okay, and A and KDC will communicate using this long-term secret. Okay, that is what we have seen. Okay, next, the main function of KDC is to securely communicate a fresh common session key to the two parties who wish to communicate with each other. Okay, this is what we will be seeing. Okay. So here under this chapter, Authentication 2, we will be studying about KDC. KDC is a trusted third party which is going to share these long-term keys with the clients and servers. By clients, what we mean is the human users. Okay, and servers are the machines. Okay, so the KDC is going to share the long-term secrets. Next, we are going to study two protocols in this chapter. One is Neelam-Schroeder protocol and the other is Kerberos protocol. Okay, both of these are for authentication. Okay, we have seen one-way authentication, we have seen mutual authentication. Now we are going to see protocols wherein we use these concepts of authentication. Okay. One second. Is it clear what we have done? Is it clear what we are going to do? Yes. Okay. Yes, then we'll continue. Yeah. So what is it that what is this KDC? Okay. It is used for message confidentiality. Okay. Now we have two users, A. Excuse me. We have two users, A and B. One minute. Yeah. We have two users, A and B. A wants to communicate with B. Okay, what does A do? He should, we are going to use secret key cryptography. That means both A and B should have a single key. Now, for this purpose, what A does is, A will send a message to the KDC saying, I want to communicate with B. Okay, so A sends a message saying that I want to communicate with B. Okay. Now, on receiving this message, what does KDC do? KDC will prepare a key. Okay, it generates a key. Say it is KKAB. Okay, this some key he prepares, and he will send this to A and to B. Okay, so who is creating the session key? The KDC is going to create. Okay, what is session key? The secret key that is going to be used by both A and B for communication. A wants to communicate with B. So A sends a message to KDC saying that I want to communicate with B. Now KDC creates this secret key and he sends it to A and to B. Okay, now how does he send it? KDC has a long-term secret with A. Okay, so he will encrypt it using this long-term secret. And he sends this key KAB. Similarly, KDC also shares another long-term secret with B. Okay, so he will encrypt the same KAB using this long-term secret and he will send it to B. Okay, so A sends the message to KDC saying I want to communicate with B. KDC creates this key KAB, which is the key, secret key that will be shared by A and B together. Okay, so now how will A and B come to know? KDC will encrypt this key using the A's long-term secret key that it shares with A and it will send to A. Okay, now KDC shares another long-term secret with B. Okay, so it will encrypt this key KAB with the secret key of B and it will send it to B. Okay, now A has received this message. It will decrypt it using the secret key and it will get KAB. What about B? B knows its secret, long-term secret with KDC. Okay, so it will use that to decrypt this message and it will get the key KAB. So now both A and B have got the secret key KAB and they will use it for communication between themselves. Okay, so this is the concept of key distribution center. Is this clear? Send in your chat box. The role of KDC. Okay, fine. So we will see some of the conventions that are being used or that we will be using when we study this. One is whenever we have a message M that is being encrypted by using the secret key that is shared with A, then we will write in E subscript A and in curly brackets we will write M. Okay, that means the message M is being encrypted using the secret key A, the long-term secret that is shared by A and KDC. Okay, now when we write it as EABM, that means it is the key that is being generated by the KDC for communication between A and B. That is the session key. Okay, now this session key will be used only for that particular communication. Once they complete, for the next session if they want, again they have to contact KDC and get a new session key. Okay, now this encrypted session key that B receives is referred to as the ticket. Okay, this whatever that B is receiving, the encrypted session key is called as the ticket. Okay, these are the terminologies that we will be using.